Welcome back to another episode of the Mistakes to Millions podcast. I'm back. I'm better. I done made multiple mistakes. I didn't make a million yet, but I made a little money. But with this episode, this is my relaunch episode. I wanted to get on here and explain who I am. Why do I do what I do? What is mistakes to millions? What drives me? What pushes me? Before I get into that, I gotta go to where mistakes to millions started. About 3 years ago, I moved to La Crosse, Wisconsin to move with my big cousin. Shout out DP, I love you. My big cousin gave me opportunity to leave Milwaukee and just be around something different, a new environment, right? I would come to Milwaukee from time to time and host do different events. I would speak a little bit. I would host pop-up shops. We're going to get into that later. But I would do a lot of different things in Milwaukee from La Crosse. I felt like my community, my family, my village was pushing me to be something bigger than myself. But I knew my flaws. I knew my shortcomings. I knew that I wasn't perfect. So I wanted to design a brand who embodied all of that. Hint, hint, mistakes to millions. But it didn't start off like that. I was going back and forth with names. I thought of second chances. I was like my bread and butter. I said, second chances are going to be my brand name. Second chances wasn't the slickest mistakes to millions. And I love to speak in stories, so hear me out when I tell you this. I remember I was in La Crosse. I was with my friend. Me and her was talking. And I had this book to where it was called Road to Millions, right? And I still got the book. But if any of my peers, any of my mentors ever gave me some knowledge, I will write their name in this book, right? And I thought the book was going to be my biggest thing. I'm still going to do it one day. But the book was like, everybody that taught me some game, I would write their name down. I would write what they tell me. And then at the end of my book, I was going to publish the book. And then I would throw like a retreat or whatever for everybody that gave me game. Or with that book, every amount of money I made off the book, I would give portions to the people that poured into me. So me and her was talking. I was talking about a brand. I can't really remember how mistakes to millions happened, but me and her thought of mistakes to millions. The book was Road to Millions. Then we thought of mistakes to millions. And I said, dang, that actually sounds slick. So what I did the next day was I went to Dollar Tree. I'm going to post this video on the thing. I went to Dollar Tree and I wrote on a white cardboard, sloppy as hell, mistakes to millions, right? And that's how it started. I wrote it on the board and I had my mama obituary next to it, so I would see it every time I wake up. I would see it. My birthday, I called my engineer. I said, man, skip it, man. I called my graphic designer, shout out Denzel. I said, man, I want to bring this into life. We designed this logo here, right? So we got to doing that, and I got to wearing the shirt. And I remember one day, I'm being real with y'all, because I gotta be real, because I don't want nobody thinking I'm fibbing or whatever, right? So I'm in La Crosse. I come down to Milwaukee. Shirts by Steve. Shout out Shirts by Steve. If you ever need a shirt design, holla at Steve because he really get it in. He actually did my first Mistakes a Million shirt. And after I finish this interview, I got to go pick some up for him. So shout out to Steve for always looking out for my T-shirts. Legend do mine too, but Steve, he did my first shirts. He printed out my first shirt. I came to this studio I'm in right now, and I said, hey, y'all, Mission Mistakes to Millions. I'm doing an event with Linnell Ramey talking about bridging the gap between the different communities. I told you I never lie to you. Right after that video, my life changed. And when I say change, it's not really for the better. I heard some information that I didn't want to hear. Changed my life forever, right? We ain't gonna go too deep, but I'm gonna tell you that that call changed my life. So right when I told the world, hey, y'all, Mr. Mistakes to Millions, a mistake happened, right? So I feel like that was my challenge to see if I was really down for this, right? So I take that L, I take it on the chin, boom. I keep going, keep going, keep going. So that was the brand. The brand is to show people that you ain't gotta be perfect to do what you do. When you make a mistake, get back up and keep pushing. That's why I wear this shirt. That's why when I go talk to my people, to my peers, I always let them know I'm not perfect. So with that being said, I can be led in any room. Right? I tell people my business is not to judge. My business to inspire and motivate. When you see this shirt, when you see me speak, when you see me on this camera, my goal and purpose is to inspire you and motivate you. I'm not here to judge because I'm not perfect either. And that's what my brand embodies, right? That's why I do what I do, to show people it's okay to make mistakes, y'all. We gonna make them. It's a lot of people run from their mistakes. It's a lot of people that drown in their mistakes, y'all. Man, you don't even know. Like, when I tell you I'm not, this not an easy task either, right? Because being who I am, accountability got to be number one, right? You got to own up to where you mess up at, right? And that's not always fun. It's ugly owning up to your mistakes. It's ugly being truthful about, man, I done messed up. Man, I'm sorry I done did this. That's not easy. But as me wearing this shirt, this brand on my shirt every day, the brand on my hat every day, this is me taking accountability for all my actions. If I didn't take them right then and there, I took them because I'm embracing my brand. And that's what my brand is about. Taking accountability for your actions. Taking accountability for your mistakes. And the most important thing about my brand, the money is cool. The big M is cool. But the most important thing is the two. Now, why is the two the most important part? Because it's mistakes to millions. I don't want people to get the money confused. Now, we want the money. We want the money. That's what we here to get. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the main goal. It's getting over your mess up. It's getting over your mistakes. It's getting over too, man, okay, I did that, but what's next? That's the biggest thing on my brand. And if you know me, the people that really know Latrell, not the people the people that really know Latrell, you know how far I came, bro. And I really don't like when people say that, but you know. And if I can do this, the people that really know me, what can you do? If you just, okay, I accept my mistake. Let me keep pushing, right? And that's the personal brand, right? That's me explaining the personal brand. Now let's go into the Mistakes to Millions show. What I did was I realized that one thing that been consistent in my life is this camera. And to be honest, I don't like this camera. I don't like being on camera. I don't like the spotlight, but it keep coming in front of me. And one thing I realized about life, whatever you run from, it chases you faster. So I got to embrace this, right? So I use this camera to interview other people who done made different mistakes, right? And they became something great, right? Now, if I'm getting a story and I'm understanding what they did to get over their mistakes, hopefully you at the crib that's watching can use the information that they did, use the steps that they took to get over their mistakes, and hopefully they can help you out. With this relaunch, bro, I got people booked already, man, that done did crazy things already, and they done made some big mistakes, right? That's what I want to embrace, because we get away from the ugly part. But you got to go through the ugly part to get to the good. And with this show, I'm huge on showing people that, yeah, bro, I did 20 years. Yeah, bro, I done messed around with all these girls, but now I'm married. I done did 20 years, but now I own a business. You feel what I'm saying? And if people that's in the joint, people that's coming out the joint, people that's done messed around and messed up, if you can hear that somebody else was in your shoes and all they did was focus. All they did was, man, let me dial in. All they did was, let me stop tricking off my time. Let me stop messing around with all these girls. If they did that, what can you do, bro? It all starts with inspiration, but that's what I'm here to do. So when I get these guests on my show, whenever you see me in the community or around or on YouTube and doing this and that, that's what I'm here to do. Mistakes to Millions podcast is solely here to inspire and motivate you to know that you can be great. that the mistakes do not define you, man. That's all I'm here to do. Because, bro, none of us is perfect. All of us is gonna make mistakes, y'all. But don't sit in those mistakes, right? And that's all I want to do here with my show. That's Mistakes to Millions. Now, I want to go deeper into who I am and why I do what I do. Trell is just somebody who, one of my biggest flaws, and I say a flaw because sometimes this gets me in trouble, I don't know how to give up, right? When I start something, it's hard for me to stop, right? I might take a break like I have been in this little time I've been away for the podcast stuff, but I can't stop. So that's one of my flaws. So I dream a lot. I want to touch briefly on my pop-up shop stuff. So I do podcasts, I speak, and I'm also an entrepreneur that help entrepreneurs. I have a business called the Next Up Pop-Up Shop. If you don't know about my pop-up shops, you need to, because they are the best around town. But the Next Up Pop-Up Shop started, man, and I say this all the time, and I'm huge on giving people their flowers because I never want people to think I did it on my own. I did nothing on my own. Brother Tony behind the camera doing everything. I never do nothing on my own. It's never just Trell. I don't want you thinking that. That's why I always give people their flowers, because if I see her a lot of you, I'm not with the line stuff. But I had a dream about me hosting an event with about 10 different vendors, right? And when I'm pregnant with an idea, because this is a man's womb, his mind, right? If you don't push them ideas out, man, like, you just really ain't about, like, to me, you ain't really about nothing. Like, if you got an idea in your mind and you don't try your best to push it out, you ain't really about nothing, bro, because it's not there for no reason. So I had a dream about a pop-up shop. I called one of my peoples, hey, I want to do this. And I have amazing friends, right? And I always have a certain type of friend around me. So I called her and I said, hey, I want to do a pop-up shop. Her first response was like, let's do it. Now, Next Up Pop-Up Shop is, I provide a space for entrepreneurs to network, grow, and expand their business in any way possible. I get a venue. I get about 15 to 20 vendors in one space, and we keep this black dollar circulating 100%. Now, for me, I just finished my last pop-up shop. Shout out Safe and Sound. Shout out Caitlin and Chrissy and my brother Derek. And shout out my Next Up team. My cousin Lil Marcus, my little brother Michael, my cousin Christopher, my little cousin Randall. And I say a lot to say, I don't do it by myself. And that's me being consistent on telling you that you're going to need people on this journey. Don't think you're going to do it by yourself. Because if you do it by yourself, it's not going to work. You're going to need people on this journey. But all them people helped me with my pop-up shop, man. And I'm on I did my fourth one. I'm planning on my fifth one. But that's what that is. What you going to get moving forward with this podcast, man, I'm going to be more intentional. I'm going to be more personal. I'm going to be more real. We're going to have more in-depth conversations. I'm going to have real conversations with real people. I'm going to try to keep these guests going. I'm going to try to make sure I'm consistent with y'all. And I want to form a relationship with my supporters. I will never forget this. This brother put me on cloud nine. I ain't going to lie to you. Just back when I was doing my podcast, man, he said, man, don't you do the podcast? He said, I didn't know you was local. I ain't gonna lie, he made me feel good. Shout out to bro. But it just reminded me of, like, dang, Trell, people are watching you. Now, that was just one dude in Milwaukee. I was at an event. He said, bro, I didn't know you was local. But it kept me going, right? And I kind of stopped a while because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do with this podcast stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I'm back. I'm better. I'm here to stay. I'm done playing around with this podcast stuff. And mark my words, Mistakes to Millions will be the face of Milwaukee podcast. I'm going to say that one more time. Mistakes to Millions will be the face of Milwaukee podcast. Thank you. Have a nice one. Okay.